This is so exciting. I can't believe how many people are here.
I know.
If you haven't noticed, before I start, I have lost my voice a little bit, so I sound a little bit croaky. I'm going to call it sexy and just go with it. I hope you all agree with me. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm so excited. We've never done this before. It's like the first time. So
This is the first time, the first ever live recording. It's so nice to see so many of you here. It's Christmas Eve.
Very exciting.
I can't believe it. Everything is a little bit different today because this is our first ever live episode, our live podcast. And it's Christmas Eve. So thank you just so much to everyone who's come today and bought a ticket. All proceeds will be given to Help for Heroes as chosen by our incredible guest. Now, for this episode, we knew that we needed someone extra special. And who else would we get other than our brand ambassador, Molly-Mae?
Thank you for having me.
Can we get a round of applause for that, guys?
Thank you.
I'm just going to shout things at you all night. I feel like that's what I'm going to do. Now, in this episode, we will go through all of your highlights, horoscopes, and even throw in some resolutions for 2020.
I love that.
We're also going to play some games with you guys, the audience, and get you involved. So I can't wait to do that. We'll get onto that later on. So, Molly.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? Welcome. Thanks for joining
good.
us.
Yeah, this is so different to my last podcast. Obviously, before it was just me and you chilling on a bed, and now I have faces staring at me, but it's fine. It's all good.
It's all very exciting. Yeah, last time, that feels like ages ago we sat on that bed.
That was actually just when things started getting going for me, when we had our last podcast. So it's been a lot going on since then, a lot.
So we're going to get all the tea on what's been happening through this podcast.
Yeah.
But first of all, I want to know, are you into horoscopes?
Do you know what? I wasn't really, but I have been reading them recently. I am getting a bit more into them. I feel like everyone's always liking stuff on Instagram with horoscopes. I'm like, I feel like I need to get into this a bit more. But yeah, have you got some horoscopes?
I love horoscopes. So basically, what we've got right here, you're a Gemini, aren't you?
I'm a Gemini, yeah.
Do we have any more Geminis in the room?
Oh my God, you're joking?
Tough crowd. Wow.
Really?
Do we have any Sagittarius? Woo, we got, yeah, that's me, Saggies. Big up Saggies. Anyway.
Saggy.
Saggy.
No, but you know, I read this thing the other day about Geminis. It was like, you must stay away from Geminis. I was like, are you joking me? How bad is that? It was like, Geminis are like, you don't go near them. They're like forbidden.
I'm a bit scared. Like, I'm sat this close to you right now. What are you going to do to me?
I mean, I don't think that's a real thing, but I did read it and I was like, that's a problem.
I didn't believe that. But I've got your 2019 horoscope here and it goes through 4 sections. So basically, I'm going to read them out and I want you to let me know whether you think they've been accurate for 2019.
Right, okay.
So we're going to start with the juiciest first, okay?
Okay.
Love and relationships.
Right, okay.
We all know we want to hear about that, don't we?
Hit me with it. Hit me with it.
So I'm going to read them out.
Okay.
Relationships turn serious but get spiced with a dash of adventure. You could be attracted to someone wildly different from your usual type. Perhaps from another culture or a long-distance affair.
Okay.
Ooh, I feel
so
like
that's
deep.
saying what's already happened?
Yeah, so this is saying, this is your 2019, so what's happened in this year?
I don't know if that's that accurate.
Do you not?
I don't know. Like, Tommy's, I guess he is my type look-wise to an absolute T, but maybe like personality-wise, I used to go for a bad boy, someone that would literally dump me within 2 days, and he isn't that. So I feel like maybe that is a little bit accurate in that way because he's like literally so kind, whereas the type I used to go for before was just, I don't know if I can say it, like a D-I-C-K.
A dickhead.
Yeah, literally.
We'll just say it. We'll just throw it out there. If I get told off, sorry guys. But it says a dash of adventure. I feel like you guys had a big adventure in summer.
Yeah, so I feel like that's quite accurate.
That one's accurate.
Yeah,
okay, so that was love and relationships. Now we're going to move on to money and career.
Okay.
Now this one says, 4 of this year's change-making eclipses will activate your financial axis. Maybe. Bringing everything from job offers to joint investments to real estate opportunities.
Okay.
I think it's safe to say that one's come true. Do you?
I don't know.
Your dad's nodding. He's agreeing with me.
Yeah. No, do you know what? Everything, like, so much has changed in the last few months.
Yeah.
I literally sometimes used to think when I went to Starbucks, like, can I afford this Starbucks right now? Like, genuinely, I used to have, like, pennies. Do you know, this is a bit of a tangent actually, but before I went on the show, like I used to be an influencer, and as an influencer, you do kind of give off this whole persona of having this, like, you kind of have to have the best of everything, this great life, like putting it on your story, like I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I rented this like glass flat with like an incredible view, which I totally couldn't afford, but like no one needed to know that, do you know what I mean? Because as an influencer, you do kind of have to give off that everything's great, everything's fine. But there were times when I used to go to Starbucks and think, at King's Cross Station at £4.99 for a chai tea latte. Like, is that a joke? I've been thinking, like, that's a £5 on a Starbucks. Like, can I be doing this right now? And then my bank statement would come through and I'd be like, this is just a problem. So it's not always been, like, I've not always, like, before I went on the show, like, I didn't have money at all. I think it's really important that people know that. Like, what you see on Instagram, it definitely isn't always a true reflection of what's going on in that person's life. Because I was always that person that was like, oh, this is where I live, this is what's going on. But it's not always the case. 100%.
But things have changed.
We don't, well, maybe a tiny bit.
It's got a little bit better.
Tiny bit.
Okay, let's talk about health and wellness. This is the next section. So it says, in 2018, your well-being was emphasised by Jupiter's visit to your health sector. It's all very serious.
It's very technical.
I feel like Mystic Meg right now, honestly. You may have cleaned up your diet, decluttered your life, and started moving more.
Yeah, that is just not accurate.
So that was 2018, but 2019... Healthy living is more of an inside job, as radical Uranus starts a long trek to your 12th house of holistic healing, closure, and spirituality.
Okay, I didn't get that last bit.
See, I knew you wouldn't, because I don't either. But basically what I think it's saying here is that healthy living is more of you looking after you, and it's an inside job. So the mind, the soul, the body, all that sort of stuff. Do you think that
That's completely
thought about
accurate?
that?
Yeah, that is so accurate.
Really?
Yeah, in like a weird way, because like what you were saying about 2018 was
Yeah.
so true. Like, I actually used to work in a gym before I went on the show, and I wanted to be a personal trainer. That was
I didn't know this.
Yeah, so I used to work in a gym. I worked like crazy shifts there, so I trained twice a day. I'd do a gym class in the morning, and then I'd train in the evening. And I literally just used to eat so clean. Like, I was all about health and fitness, because my family is completely like gym, healthy eating. Like, it's all about that healthiness.
Health as well.
Yeah, health is, well, yeah. Anyway, so then, like, the last few, well, since I've come off the show, like, everything's been going on, I honestly haven't thought about the gym once, and I haven't thought about even looking at a salad. And it's a good and bad, because I am the happiest I've ever been, like, completely in my life right now. In my whole 20 years, this is the happiest I've ever been. I might not be as confident in my body, but do you know what? At the end of the day, like, if I'm happy, I think that's the most important thing, which I am. So I think sometimes you do have to try to change your priorities a little bit, and if it's not making you happy, then change it.
Well, I think that's really nice to hear.
Yeah, a bit of a tangent, but
I love a tangent.
yeah,
we love a tangent.
I'm good on going on them. Yeah.
Now, the final one is friends and family. We were chatting a little bit about this before. So this is an interesting one. The cast of characters you call friends has been shifting over the past couple of years.
Okay.
We're both laughing because we've been chatting. As eclipses in Leo and Aquarius brought fascinating folks to you and helped you form a like-minded community. With the planets demanding balanced give and take from your relationships in 2019, you might do one more edit of your contact list. Is that accurate?
Well, my contact list is extremely small. Like, we were just talking, we were having chat before. Like, I have such a small circle. Like, it is small to the point where it's my family and my boyfriend. I literally have pretty much, it sounds crazy, I have like no friends. Like, and I actually don't mind saying it. Like, I have maybe, I could count on my hand the amount of friends I have. And I think people probably think me, like, I'd have loads of friends, I'd have loads of people that I'd go for coffee with, loads of people that I'd go for dinner with, but I actually don't. And that's something that I'm not even afraid to admit. I just never have. Like, I've never been that person that's had loads of friends. But I think that's good, especially with the situation I'm in now. Like, it's good to just have people that you can really, really trust. And it's okay to say that your circle's small, because sometimes that's a really nice way to have it. So yeah.
And I think it's safe to say we're all your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah? Everyone agree with me?
That's cute.
Yes. I love it when everyone cheers. It just makes me so happy. Okay, well, that was horoscopes, and that was really interesting. That was 2019.
I feel like I'm definitely going to get more into my horoscopes now, because that was actually very accurate.
That is so accurate.
Yeah.
How crazy. I was reading it. When I was reading it beforehand, I thought, actually, I think some of these might be true. They might have come right. So happy with that. Now, enough about them. Let's talk about New Year's resolutions. So everybody seems to talk about New Year's resolutions at this time of year. Did you set any resolutions this time last year or for the 2019 year?
Probably just to, I was an influencer last year full time, but I think I had literally about 40,000 followers at the time.
Okay.
Maybe even less than that. And I think my goal at that point was just to really, really focus on creating my, like, carrying on my career, growing my social media. I know, obviously, when I talk about it, I always feel like it's just going to be such a controversial oh my God, I can't say the word. Controversial subject. But yeah, I was an influencer, and I just really wanted to grow that. And because I knew that I know that it is a job and it's a proper career and it's such a hard job. And I wanted to kind of just carry on doing that. And I didn't really care what anyone had to say about it at that point. My family was so supportive of it. So I just kind of wanted to focus on that. And that's what I did. And then all throughout the year, I really feel like I manifested things. Like, I never believed in this before. I never believed in, is it manifestation? Yeah, I didn't believe in it. I thought it was an absolute load of rubbish. I never would have just even tried it. But I really, really started to think in my mind, like, if I really, really, really think about this hard, like if I really try for it, like I can make anything happen.
Yeah.
And I went on a trip to Dubai, like an influencer trip, and I went up like 30,000 followers in the space of like 5 days, just because I wanted it that much. And I tried so hard and I was working so hard on my content and creating like that kind of Instagram that I knew that people would want to kind of go to and take tips from.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I just kept going. And I think that I actually manifested it.
Did you imagine how different, or how do you think your January will be different this year to last year's January? Or this year's January? Am I getting my years confused?
Maybe potentially, I'm not sure. I feel like this January's wifed up winter, 100%. Like,
It's what?
Wifed up winter.
Wifed up winter?
Yeah,
What's
like
that?
I'm wifed up.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a wife.
Wifed up winter. Got you.
Yeah.
Your
Wifed
wife.
up winter. Yeah, so obviously things are very different this year in that obviously I'm in a relationship. I wasn't in a relationship this time last year. Everything was, I can't even believe how things were so different last year, like to the point where I wouldn't even recognize myself last year. If you put myself last year in front of me, I wouldn't recognize who that person is. It's just worlds apart, completely worlds apart.
Can you tell us some of the differences? Like, what do you think mainly stands out as different?
Well, this time last year, I was living by myself in a flat in Manchester. I had literally no one around me. I was really just trying to create this social media career for myself. I was trying to do YouTube. I was trying to do Instagram. And it was going places, but it wasn't really going anywhere I needed to create a proper career out of it. But I just guess everything was just, where I am now is where I dreamed of being in like 20 years time. So it's just, I could just never ever imagine it happening that quickly. Obviously I was just extremely lucky that it did happen.
Let's talk about the beginning of your whirlwind summer.
Yeah.
When did you first find out where you'd be spending the majority of your summer?
Would you know what? I only found out 4 days before that I went out. So I packed, and then I just went, and that was it. My life changed.
So you found
in the
out
space of 4 days.
4 days before?
Yeah.
So tell me about that time, because your family, how did they all react? What were they thinking?
Well, it was all just kind of like in limbo. Like I from my first audition, this is how I believe I manifested it. This sounds so crazy, and I know you're not going to believe me, but I genuinely believe I did. I told my mom this the other day. So from my first audition, I went in, I still had like 5 auditions to go. And I sat there, I came out of my audition, I said to my mom, like, I'm going on. I said, I've got it. I was like, I have this feeling in my stomach. I was like, I can just tell, like, I feel like I've got it. And it wasn't me being cocky or overconfident, because I'm not like that. I've never believed in myself like that. But I just had this weird feeling that I was like, I think I actually have got it. And I came out and I was like, I am going on this year, so you don't need to worry about the next few months, because I'm just going to start preparing anyway. So I started gymming stuff, because I just put myself into the mindset that I was going on, even though I didn't know that I was.
I think it's so weird, because a few years ago, or when I was younger especially, like, we weren't ever taught to really believe in ourselves, and it was very much like you would be seen as cocky if you were like, yeah, I'm going to pass my driving test, or yeah, I can do this. But now it has shifted. We should all feel like, yes, I can do this, and yes, we can believe in ourselves. So I think it's important that you did, and I think it's absolutely fine to say that you did.
Yeah, I just came out of the audition, and it was actually just something inside me saying to me, like, if you just believe in yourself enough, it will happen. And then it did. And that's why I do believe in like manifesting things now, because it worked. It did work. But I feel like with some things it can happen. Like if you've got a job interview coming out, like go into that job interview thinking, I've already got this job. Like this job is mine.
And when you left the villa, you must have known that you were going to get deals and jobs thrown at you left, right and centre.
It doesn't really come into your head, you know. Like when I came out, it was all just such a whirlwind. When I came out, when you're in there for starters, you're just not thinking about that. And I know probably people would think that I was, because of being an influencer already. But when I was in that situation, like I can never ever explain to you what it was like, because you would never understand. Like it was the most intense 10 weeks of my life, and I will never be able to put into words what it was like. But when you're in there, you're just not thinking right. You're not thinking straight. And I wasn't thinking about anything on the outside. I was just thinking about in that moment what was going on. So when I came out and obviously I was getting deals and stuff, I was just like, it's all so rushed. And it was a very, very intense 2 weeks. Like it was probably the most stressful 2 weeks of my life because I was having to make all these decisions on management, like deals, like who to trust, who to not trust. And it was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. But yeah, and you kind of just have to make these decisions and it just happens and you just have to roll with it. Roll with the punches, as Tommy's always says. So,
As Tommy says.
Yeah.
Now, why did you choose PLT? So I know that you got loads of deals thrown at you, but why PLT?
PLT was 100% the most, I say this word all the time, organic move. Like as an influencer, it's like a word that you use to talk about what's the move that you would actually make. So say like if I started working with a brand that I've never worked with before because they offered me a lot of money, but you know, I just took it for the money. That's not an organic move to make. PLT couldn't have been more organic. I've worked with PLT for a long time and I've always worn their clothes. Like I can literally remember shopping on the website when it was just like so young, the company. And I've just used them for absolutely years. So when I came out and the PLT was one of the companies that came for me, I was like, absolutely, I didn't even need to think about it twice because it was just completely the right move to make for me. Obviously, I was over the moon that they wanted to work for me because it was like my dream company to work for. So I was absolutely buzzing.
And now you're actually part of the family.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like my apartment's literally 2 minutes from the head office, and I feel like I'm there all the time. I feel like I'm like the little dog that comes in, everyone pets, like, oh. But no, it's so nice. Like it's just such a nice brand, and it's like one big family. It sounds so cringy, but it is.
No, but it's so true. We really are.
Yeah.
And you shot your collection in LA.
Yeah.
Back in August, that wasn't it? Tell us a little bit about the shoot. How was that for you? Because I guess you'd not done something on that scale before.
No, I've never done anything on that scale. I've never even been to America before.
Really?
Oh, that's actually a complete and utter lie. Yes, I had been to America before. I've been to America once before. But only that was for an influence trip as well. And then I went to LA, and it was just like on another level. I'd never been to LA before. And it was just crazy. It was the best experience, and I never ever thought something like that would happen. That's what I'm saying. If you told me this time last year that things like this would happen, I just would never ever have believed you, ever. Never.
And how did you cope shooting in all of those turtleneck jumpers in that heat?
Oh my God, I know. I don't think anyone actually realised that. Like I was shooting like turtlenecks, leather dresses, and all these like trousers and stuff in, I'm not even joking, 42-degree heat. I was dripping with sweat, but I was like, no, I'm not going to complain. It's fine. Just had to crack on, but it was fine.
And the collection was a huge success.
Yeah.
You must feel so proud to have achieved such an amazing thing.
It was weird. The other day I was watching one of my YouTube videos and the advert for my collection actually came on before one of my YouTube videos started, and I was like, this just isn't real. Like this just doesn't happen. Things like this just don't happen to someone like me. And I still can't get my head around it. Sometimes I just sit on my sofa at home and I look at my Instagram and my followers and I'm like, this isn't happening, but it is. And it's sometimes you have to just kind of pinch yourself and get on with it and just think like, I need to just go with it and just make it up as I go along, because I never have any idea what I'm doing. Like I turn up to all these events like pretending I know what's going on. I'm like, I just go with the flow. Like I never have a clue. But yeah, I think that's just kind of, you have to just wing it.
We just wing it. We always wing it.
Wing in life. It's all good.
And what was your favourite piece from that collection? I know that we've had a couple of edits since then, but what was your favourite piece from your first collection with PLT?
I think it was probably the jumpsuit that I wore to my PLT party. It was
With
like
the
a black,
gaps.
it was like high neck with this kind of section here, all business, and like flare trousers. That was probably my favourite. But I saw a lot of tweets, people being like, this collection is just only blazers. And I was like, well, that's because I love a blazer. Like, I literally, blazers are my thing.
She's a blazer girl. Do you know what I mean?
I just love a blazer. So the blazers in there as well. I love the blazers.
Love them.
Yeah.
I definitely did as well. And you mentioned your launch party there. So we had that back in September. What an incredible night that was.
Yeah.
It was a big night.
It was a big night. I feel like I can't really remember. You know when something's just such a blur? I didn't even drink alcohol that night.
Did you not?
No, because I don't really drink. And I just, even looking back, I'm like, I can't even remember it because it was just such a mad night. It was such a blur. But it was probably one of the best nights of my life. It was crazy.
It must have been so amazing to see so many faces come out to celebrate you as a person, to celebrate your success and collection.
It's weird, especially as being an influencer before, because you think, I used to come to things like this for other people and think, God, imagine being that person. And then I was that person that night, and it didn't feel real. I was like, this is a dream. Like, it's not, this whole last 6 months has just been like that for me. I feel like I'm like having an out of body experience. I'm just like, this isn't happening. Like, everything I go to, it's all just so incredible. But yeah, I just feel so lucky.
Do you still think it's sinking in now?
I genuinely don't believe it will ever sink in for me, just because it is such a dream. Everything I'm getting to do now, I guess it's like, for people that aren't an influencer or people that don't really care that much about fashion, they probably wouldn't really understand. But it's kind of like a mathematician getting to go to I don't know, like their favorite maths contest. You know what I mean? Like it's just something that's such a bad comparison, but you know what I mean? Like it's just something that in an influencer world is just such a dream to have your own collection or to do your own things with companies, and then to suddenly get to do it within the space of a few months, it just doesn't feel, it's not real.
And also in September, you're invited to New York Fashion Week, to PLT's first ever runway show.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? How was that experience?
That was just insane. I think that was my favorite experience of this whole journey the last 6 months. Going out to New York for New York Fashion Week was just absolutely insane. We were staying in the same hotel as Kim Kardashian, Kendall Jenner, Cindy Crawford. They were all just casually chilling in reception. Chantal Jeffries, if anyone's seen her on Instagram, I'm literally obsessed with her, sat right there. I was just like, this is just not happening. I was just trying to stay calm. Like, don't ask for selfies, it's fine. But yeah, it was just crazy. Like, we tried to take a sneaky picture of Kim Kardashian. Like, literally just, you know, one of them awkward sneaky pictures, one of those ones. And her security came over and was like, you need to delete that right now. Even though no one saw. They must have had cameras or something set up. I don't know what. But someone saw, and I was like, okay, that's so awkward. Like, we'll delete. Sorry.
And that, my friends, is the tea.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But you did get a selfie with Paris Hilton.
Yeah, we did.
Who's seen that image of Paris Hilton?
Yeah, that was fun.
Woo!
No, do you know what? She was so nice. I said to her, I was like, what perfume are you wearing? She was like, it's Paris Hilton by Paris Hilton. I was like, oh, okay, Paris Hilton. I was like, yeah, I'm just wearing Molly-Mae by Molly-Mae. But yeah, she was really nice. She was really nice.
And whilst you were there, you must have spotted yourself, well, you did spot yourself on the billboards in Times Square.
That was
Talk about a moment in life, like you're literally in New York and you've just spotted yourself.
On the billboard.
I mean, how big are them billboards?
They were huge.
They're humongous.
We were, even on the videos, I didn't even hide it. I was running around going, oh my God. Because you just never would imagine that would happen. And I was like, that's me on a billboard in Times Square. And it was absolutely huge. And there was two right next to each other. And I just, in that moment, I was like, I just wanted to literally run up and hug Umar. Because I was like, this just, it's not, Umar's obviously the CEO of PLT. And I was like, this is just all thanks to him and everyone at PLT. And I was just so emotional. It was amazing.
I couldn't even imagine it. Like, what a moment to see that.
Yeah. People were seeing me on the street. They're like, oh my. I was like, yeah, that's me.
That's me, by the way.
I didn't want to be that girl and just be totally chilled, like standing there, just doing my thoughts. I was like, yeah, no, that's me.
How amazing. Because I mean, this is the thing as well, like the experience that you're in the summer and PLT, I mean, obviously we're global, but it kind of must have felt quite UK based. But then as soon as you go to the US, you know, we're such a huge brand that's to branch
the thing.
out there
and
for yourself.
When I go away to places, I never expect that anyone will know who I am when I go away. But because of PLT, it has meant that people do know who I am in different countries because PLT is so global. Like when I go to when I went to America, it's exactly the same as being in the UK. Not quite the same, but it's still big. And I think it is just crazy. People like knowing who you are and stuff.
And you wore your PLT collection to New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
How on earth did you make that decision? Like what you were going to wear? How did you choose?
I got myself ready. Like it was just a very stressful 2 hours. I had this like big ponytail hanging out of my head. I was like, I just don't know what's going on right now. But it was, I think I wore it was like a pinstripe blazer with like cycling shorts, these thigh-high boots. I love a thigh high. I feel like they make an outfit look really dramatic.
Love it.
But yeah, it was good. It was
and the sunglasses.
And the sunglasses. I don't know why I did that. I just felt I had a bougie moment. I was like, I'm just gonna go for the sunglasses. Like, why not? But then Paris Hilton had fashion sunglasses on. So I was like, okay.
So you're like, that's it.
Yeah.
And you were
front
row.
We're literally sisters. Yeah.
I feel like if you're front row at a fashion show, you've got to wear sunglasses, haven't you?
I don't know who I thought I was in that moment. So I sat there with my thigh-high boots and my sunglasses. I was like, who do I think I am? Like, chill out, Molly. Like, come on.
No, you definitely got to do it. I've got to clarify. By what I mean by I've never done that is I've never sat front row. I've just not had that privilege. Just so you know, if I did, I'd definitely have sunglasses on as well.
Fair enough.
No, it was for Saweetie's collection.
Yeah.
The catwalk, the runway show. Would you ever dream of having your own runway show in New York?
Yeah, of course. Like, that's insane. I think so. Even Saweetie was like, this is, I could tell, like, even looking when she was doing her speech and stuff, like, she was overwhelmed. I think it was crazy. It was such a successful thing. And I was just sat front row thinking, this is another thing where I was like, this doesn't feel real.
Pinch me, man.
Yeah, 100%.
And Tommy was in New York with you as well?
Yeah, he came actually at the end of the show. He showed up. It was so nice.
He seems so supportive. You both seem so supportive of each other's careers.
It's to a point where, like, it was ridiculous. Like, even every single night he goes training for boxing, I'll be at the gym. I can't miss a session. Like, when I'm with someone, like, I'm just so supportive. And with him, like, it's just, wherever he is, I am. Wherever I am, he is. And he knew that New York was huge for me, so he wanted to be there to support me and see the billboard and do all that jazz. And yeah.
Is it difficult though, because you're so busy, you just like, even when he's training, you want to be there. Like, is it not difficult with having so many jobs and things on for yourself to be able to support him as well?
Yeah, it is. But I really prioritize him. I think like the reason I am so happy right now in my life is, I don't want to say it's totally down to him, but I think it probably is. Like he's just incredible. I've never ever met anyone like him, and it sounds so cringy, but it's just crazy. And he's just so supportive and just loves me so much, and I love him so much. It's just such a nice situation. It sounds so soppy and so cringy, but we're just so happy. But yeah, it's all going on.
You then came back from New York and you guys moved in together.
Yeah.
What a big step. How was it moving in with a boy? How is it?
Do you know what? It's actually so good. He's so tidy. Well, okay, that's actually such a complete lie. He's not so tidy at all. But he knows how important it is to me to have a tidy apartment. So if I go away for a couple of days or I've got something to do, like I'll come back and he'll always like as like a treat. Like how someone would buy flowers, like he'll tidy the apartment because he knows that's like something that I absolutely love. So yeah, he's a dream to live with. Like I can't imagine not living with him now. Like everything in my life now, I'm like, I can't imagine not doing that with him. But yeah, he's actually a dream to live with. He's not bad at all.
And do you have any upcoming projects working together that you can tell us about?
Not really, you know. I think, you know what, like whilst we are such a together couple and so like in each other's pockets, we do really understand that each other's careers is each other's careers. And I will definitely let him like crack on with his boxing, and he lets me crack on with doing all my collabs, doing all my pictures. Like he takes a lot of my pictures for me for Instagram. Like we just know that each other's works are so important. So we can't just let each other crack on with that. We've not actually got anything coming up together, but lots of YouTube videos planned for the new year, which is good. Yeah.
Fast forward to November, you attended the PLT Times Little Mix launch party.
Yeah, that was good.
And you wore the snake print dress. Tell me about that. Was that your favourite piece from the collection?
Yeah, I loved that. I love a thigh-high boot, like I said before. Like a thigh-high boot I feel like is so my style. And then when I saw in the collection it had like those thigh-high snake print boots, I was like, that is me to a T. And then I saw the matching dress, I was like, okay. And then the matching clutch, I was like, oh, okay. This is definitely my outfit for the night. So then, yeah, we popped that on. I loved it. Their collection was so different to what I actually thought they were going to bring out. I didn't expect that at all. I was like, this is so different and so cool. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good.
And you touched on it before. Do you think you've got used to going to all of these huge events now? Because you said before you were kind of used to it in the beginning, going as an influencer, but you're going as Molly-Mae now.
Yeah. Oh god, it sounds so weird when you say that.
I'm making a cringe.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? No, like it's so it is weird when I go to these events. Like as I said, like I literally just wing it. Like I think people probably look at me and think, oh god, like, you know, she's got herself together, like she's really knows what she's doing, but I really don't. Like I just turn up, I have no idea what's going on half the time. I'm just really chilled. Like that's when people come up to me and they're all flustered and they'll sometimes hold the camera and they'll be shaking. I'm like, I just stop them. I'm like, please, like I'm so normal. Like I'm just not that person. I would never ever like be standoffish. I'm just not like that. And if you've ever met me like in the street, you'll know that. Like I've always talked to people just so normally because that's just the way I am. And I would hate for anyone to think that I wasn't like that because that's just not me. But yeah, when I go to these events and stuff, like if you've seen me at events, that you'll know I'm just very chilled out. You'll normally find me by the food, where the chocolate fountain is. There's loads of videos of me at the Little Mix PLT party at the chocolate fountain. We're eating the marshmallows because that's just more important.
That's the best place to be found at a party, where the food is.
Yeah,
or the alcohol, of course.
Yeah.
Now, more recently, you were you were the main part of the Where's Molly-Mae campaign. Did anyone in the room see that or get involved with it? Did anyone come to try and find us? Yeah. Thanks, guys. Well, to anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, can you just explain a little bit what that was, what we had you doing on the day?
Yes, so it was for Black Friday, and we both had to hide, and basically there was like clues all around Manchester where people had to go around and basically find me. So there was clues that basically sent you to places like the library, they sent you to Archie's, they sent you to where else? Like different places.
Archie's. Where else?
Oh, the Menagerie bath.
Menagerie, there was a bath.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the guys in the audience to help me here.
Christmas markets.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally we were hiding at the Dakota Hotel, and yeah, it was so funny.
And we were just basically sat there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Just
talking
sipping
absolute rubbish.
Orange juice, just having a lovely time.
Orange juice, chatting in between takes. Yeah. It was great, wasn't it?
It was great.
We had a really fun day.
We were having a lovely time. Also, everyone was running wild around Manchester. Yeah. We kept seeing these little cameras, people like taking their clues and stuff. It was actually hilarious.
People kept stealing the unicorns. So like before they were placed, people would just pick them up and we're like, no, you can't take them.
But there's someone taking it, yeah.
What's the weirdest or most wonderful thing you've done since leaving the villa? Like, what's been the biggest thing?
I don't know, like it's all just been, I can't even pick out one thing. Like it's all just been so crazy, but I guess just I don't know, everything with PLT, I think PLT has been like my biggest highlight. Like everything with PLT has been so insane. The billboard in New York, that was probably my biggest moment. I just still look back at those pictures and think that's just not, that's been photoshopped. Like that's not me on a billboard in New York. That's just not a thing.
But it's definitely not. It is you. So I guess
Yeah.
it's just a strange moment for yourself
Yeah.
to see that happening.
Yeah.
And recently you have just released your New Year's Eve edit with PLT.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, my Christmas edit. It's crazy. I feel like I feel like maybe I actually prefer this edit, you know, to my first one. I feel like this one is it's so my style and so me to a T. Like it's like I actually love this edit so much. Like when we were doing it and creating it and styling it, I was like, this is so me. So yeah.
Do you feel like because you've done your big collection that this one was a bit more like, okay, I know what I'm doing now?
Well,
I'm
kind
ready
of,
for
and I
this.
felt like I kind of wasn't like, obviously I was very, very excited for it and I was bothered, but I kind of was like a lot more chilled for this one. I was like, okay, like I've done it once, like I know what I'm doing now. But this one, and then it kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, oh my God, I think I'm actually more in love with this one. Like I feel like this one is so, like as I said, so my style. And I fell in love with it and now I'm literally wearing it all the time.
And do you think you'll be wearing one of the pieces on New Year's Eve?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, well, do you know, I'm actually in the Maldives for New Year's Eve.
Ooh,
So, and I feel
okay.
like this Christmas edit is very like English weather appropriate. Like it's
Yeah.
all long sleeves. I was thinking about you girls waiting in the queues for the clubs. You know, I was thinking about that when I was creating this because I know how it feels. You don't want to take out a coat with you. So a lot of it is long sleeves with either like short on the bottom or it'll be like long with arms out. So it's kind of like a bit of both. So I don't know if I'll be wearing it in the Maldives, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see,
I'm
probably.
excited to see all your content in the Maldives.
I
I know
know.
where I'd rather be spending New Year's Eve.
I'm going to try and have a social media detox. That's the plan.
Ooh, okay.
It probably won't happen, let's be real, but we'll
Well,
give it a good go.
We'll look and we'll find out whether that does happen.
Yeah.
Now, last but not least, you unveiled your own tan range, filtered by Molly-Mae.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
like, what a
you.
huge achievement.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
That's so
honest to
sweet.
God, you're just hitting, throwing things out left, right, and centre.
Yeah, I think for me, it was so fun creating Filter by Molly-Mae because nobody knew I was doing it. Everything in my life is so public and everyone finds out everything that I'm doing. Like even
Yeah.
my first PLT collection was out in the Daily Mail before everyone even knew that I was collabing. It was all, everything is so kind of like exposed and out for the world to see. But with this, it's been so under the wraps and I've been so sure. I just don't want anyone to find out.
Yeah.
So I think everyone was really shocked when they found out I was doing my own thing and I had my own brand. And I've been working like so hard on it. And I think that's why everyone's been kind of like, why does she have no time? Like, why? And that's because in the background, that's been going on too. But I'm just so proud of it. And it's like my biggest thing. Like obviously all these clubs have been great, but obviously having my own brand was something that I've dreamt of since being a young girl. Like I've always wanted to be not like a businesswoman, but have my own things going on and do my own thing and be able to financially support myself. And that was so important to me. So yeah, having my own company with something that I'm so passionate about is just so exciting.
And the pictures, I think everybody will agree, are absolutely phenomenal. But you look amazing, Molly.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the shoot. Where was it? Was it
Yeah,
Barbados?
it was Barbados, and that shoot was literally planned to like a army precision.
Really?
Yeah, when we went out there, I was so careful with who I picked to come out with me. It was so thought out. But that's something that I like to plan things a lot. I like to make sure everything's sorted, and that is like I don't think anyone understands. Like Filtered by Molly-Mae is so important to me. Like I was never going to bring anything out to you guys that wasn't perfect, that wasn't absolutely like this is a bomb tan, like this is this is so good. So the shoot was so, it had to be perfect, the pictures had to be perfect, the video had to be perfect, even the song that we put with the video has to be perfect, like everything had to be right. So Barbados was absolutely crazy. We were only out there for 4 days, and then for 2 of the days there was actually a power cut. So we couldn't curl my hair, we couldn't charge our cameras, we couldn't charge our phones. My phone was on 3% and the whole island cut out. And I was like, okay, Tommy, I'm not going to speak to you for like, I don't know how long now, but I was there, gone for like 2 days. So it was crazy, but we kind of, and then I think you'll see in the video, I had to have French braids for the rest of it because there was just there was no other route. But yeah, it was just crazy. We stayed in this beautiful villa and it was just, I was kind of in charge and I loved that because obviously doing everything so far, it's been, I would do what you want me to do. Like I'm very good at taking orders and I'm quite good at listening. But this, it was like, okay, now I'm in charge and now I've got to kind of do it. And it's fun. It's been such a crazy journey, but now it's out. I couldn't be happier with the response. And it just goes to show that if you do really, really work hard on something and really think about it, it will come out right and people will like it. So yeah.
I think everything you do will be amazing. It has been amazing and will be amazing.
Thank you.
Now, on 2019, you've had an incredible year. We've just gone over it in a bit of a whistle-stop tour. But what do you think has been the best part? We did touch on it before, but what has been the best part of your 2019?
It's so hard because
Good
it's
question.
honestly been the best year of my life. Like, wouldn't even hesitate saying it. I've obviously met Tommy. I think that probably has to be my favourite thing because I know that we're going to be together forever. Like, I feel it, like, actually deep. Like, I know we're just meant to be together. So I think obviously I've met the person that I'm going to marry, which is crazy. I know.
Dad's eyes have just gone, bloody hell.
But it's just the truth.
really
like,
happening.
yeah, it's just been so much going on, but it's just it's crazy.
So could we see wedding bells soon, or is it like long?
I'm not going to say that because next, Daily Mail will be like, Molly and Tommy are getting married tomorrow, which is not the
Very
case.
true,
and
very
nothing
true.
is happening in the Maldives, which everyone seems to think it is. It's definitely not. I don't get carried away with myself. Like, I kind of keep things to myself, and that's why within things like that and the papers happen. Like, I see articles, I'm like, oh my God, that's just so embarrassing because that's just definitely not the case. That's one thing about being in the public eye is that you just can't control what goes out. Like, it's just the way it is. But no, like, we're very sensible and we would never have like rushed into anything. We're just so happy right now. We're just cracking on, doing our thing.
Cracking on,
cracking on, doing our thing. Yeah.
And we spoke about manifesting before. What are you manifesting for 2020? What's in your pipeline? Is that the right word? Your pipeline? What's in the pipeline?
In your
I think
pipeline?
you should say. Sounds a little bit
weird.
better, doesn't it?
Do you know what? I think just continuing to manifest, like doing exactly what I'm doing now, just to grow in what I'm doing. I want Filters by Molly-Mae to be the best tan on the market and to be the tan that everyone wants to wear and wants to buy. I want that to happen. We've got products coming out of Filters by Molly-Mae. Obviously, it's going to be a whole website. I want it all to be going on. So I think like my main focus will be Filtered by Molly-Mae, obviously carrying on doing my influencing because that's what I feel so passionate about. Like, I think a lot of people probably thought I was going to do a lot of TV work when I came out of the villa and head into all different directions, but I loved before it all changed. Like, I loved doing what I was doing. I was so happy, and when I came out, I didn't want anything to change. And I was so blessed that when you come out of that situation, influencing is kind of what you do anyway. So I was very lucky that I was just basically doing what I was doing anyway, but on a bigger scale. I kind of felt sorry for the people that came out of doing normal jobs, and the next thing you know, they're having to learn to be like an influencer. Like, it was like Tommy, like he was a boxer, he was a sportsman, and then next thing you know, he's having to learn how to be an influencer because that's just kind of what happens when you come out. And like, I was obviously helping him every step of the way, but there's also girls that were in the situation that the boys were in. So I was like, I'm very lucky that I kind of understand what I need to do now. But I just kind of wanted to carry on doing exactly what I was doing before I went in the show, and that's exactly what I've done. I post exactly the same content that I posted before I went in. I work with exactly the same brands because it's what I did before and it's what I love doing. I didn't want to change that. So yeah, I think just 2020 is just the year for doing exactly what I'm doing now because I'm so happy doing it. And I feel like it's going okay.
It's going well. And hopefully loads more stuff with PLT.
Oh, obviously,
I mean, there will be, for sure.
Yeah.
And you're turning 21 in the summer.
Oh, yeah,
21.
that's so weird.
Oh my God, is there going to be like a huge party? Is there going to be a big event?
Do you know what? Like, I don't drink. When I say I don't drink, I literally very, very rarely drink. So a huge party doesn't really, like, it for my 21st, it doesn't really appeal to me. No. Not really. But I guess I think we'll probably go on a really nice holiday. I want to have a party, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't want to be like a boring Brenda for my 21st. So maybe we'll have to see.
So we need to look out and see what's coming.
Yeah, so crazy. I'll be turning 21. I just feel like that's so old. It's not old at all. It's not old at all. But I just feel like for me, I just feel like I'm still 13. I'm still like I'm a 20-year-old and a 13. I'm a 13-year-old and 20-year-old's body. That's what I feel like.
I literally turned 28 yesterday or the other day, and you're just sitting calling me a grandma, basically, and to anyone else in the room, like, it's all right, we'll be grands together.
No, I totally did not mean that. Do you know what I mean? It just sounds like quite an old age when I still feel like I should be in secondary school, like taking my GCSEs, but it's okay.
No, I completely feel the same way. I feel about 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I look it, so it's fine.
Yeah, you actually do. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Christmas. Christmas is tomorrow. Do you have any Christmas traditions?
Do you know what? Not really. Like, my dad would get annoyed at me for saying this, but I've got a small family. Like, my close family is small, and it's never really been like a huge thing in our house at Christmas. It's a thing, but we don't go OTT at Christmas. Like, our house is not decorated like Santa's grotto, and it's not a massive thing. But we just at Christmas, like, my mum's the kind of mum that she'll get me makeup wipes for Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Like shampoo and conditioner,
all the stuff girls need.
Yeah, just like cute stuff. Like, we've never gone OTT. Like, I'm not the sort of person that would get like you know when, oh my gosh, I remember this one Christmas when everyone got Michael Kors watches, and I really wanted a Michael Kors watch. I wasn't the girl that got a Michael Kors watch. Let's just put it that way. I got my shampoo and conditioner, and I was told to be happy with that. But you know, I'm glad that that's the way it was, because now I appreciate things so much. And if I do buy anything like a bit expensive or designer, I'm like, oh God, I feel bad doing it because I've just not been brought up in a way that I used to get presents. And even, if you guys remember when everyone used to wear Hollister and Abercrombie and like Jilly Hicks, I wasn't allowed. My mum was like, you'll go to Tesco, you'll get an F&F t-shirt and you'll be happy with that. And I'm like, sweet, that's okay, I'll take it. So I've just never really been like showered with gifts, but it's a good thing. It's a good way that I've been brought up like that. Because now I appreciate things more. But at Christmas, it's just a chill one. We have a nice roast dinner, and then nice roast dinner at my dad's the next day, so it's all good.
So it'll be a chilled one again this year, do we think?
Chilled one with lots of food,
Lots of food. Okay, now this is one that you'll probably have to think about, but what is the best Christmas present you think you've ever received?
Oh my gosh.
No pressure.
I honestly, like I said to you before, like it's just not a thing in my house. Like, I guess I remember one year when I started to want to be a YouTuber. My dad bought me all my YouTube equipment. Like I think my mum and my dad together, like my mum bought me the camera, you bought me the ring light, the tripod, and I remember we were setting up in the kitchen and I was getting so excited. I guess that was a special Christmas present because obviously now that's what I do. But yeah, that was probably my most special, getting all my YouTube equipment one. That was only, like 2 years ago? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Basically, all credit to Dad.
All credit to Dad,
Nice one. You manifested it for her, basically. You did it.
But honestly, like, Christmas just isn't it is a thing. I keep saying it's not a thing, but presents just isn't a thing in my house. And I think that's, when I have kids one day, that's exactly how I'm going to raise them. Like, I'm not going to spoil them because it's not a good way to be raised.
Well, there's a lot more to Christmas than presents, isn't there? Let's be honest. It's spending time with family, and this year you're going to be spending it with Tommy for the first time.
Tommy's actually driving down. This is how amazing he is. He's driving down on Christmas Day. Like, so spending the morning with his family, then driving down on Christmas Day to then come to my family, and then spend the evening with my mum, and then the next day we'll go to my dad's for Boxing Day, and Tommy will be with us. I think you want us to go for a run or something, but that's just not happening.
Are you going for a run as well? Wow.
This is what I mean about my family being so sporty. It's like, I'm not on that wavelength, but it's fine. I'll just watch. I'll cheerlead from the side or something.
Honestly, I mean, I'm so interested in your dad. I think it's about time we get him up here.
Okay.
So, everyone's ready for that. Woo. So, for anyone who doesn't know, we are going to now go on to an interactive part of our podcast where we bring on Molly's dad. I am so excited. We're going to play a little game with all of you. So, come on stage. Let's get you up here.
You just got for the wrong time. Kill me. Hi. Funny.
Welcome, Molly's dad. That was
Funny
so
man.
cute. I'm sorry, my voice is still going, guys. It's hanging on by a thread. How are you doing? Welcome. Yeah, please help yourself to a sweet. Do you want to? I mean, I'd be scared to get a sweet. I might choke with my cough at the minute. How are you doing? How's it been watching Molly up on stage today?
The weird thing about it is she's been through the most crazy last 12 months, but actually sitting there with my sister, it's just like watching Molly. It just feels like watching Molly, who we've seen grow up. She doesn't seem like this, which she is ultimately a global figure now, who people know around the world. So it's really strange to watch her.
He just kills me.
Molly's just getting so embarrassed right now. This is literally like...
so embarrassing. No, I'm joking. But this is just my dad. Like, the way he's dressed, everything's smart. Like, this is just my dad down to a T, but might be my biggest fan.
It's great. Obviously, everyone is really proud of her. She's done, such amazing thing in the last 12 months. Who wouldn't be? And we have to pinch ourselves. She's 20 years of age. And she talks about her birthday next year, the 21st. We haven't actually celebrated her last 2 birthdays at all.
Yeah. I was in lockdown for my birthday.
So she was in lockdown, so we couldn't even speak to her. We couldn't celebrate. We couldn't give her anything for her birthday whatsoever. And 2 years previously, she was in China on World Teen Supermodel.
Oh, yeah, I was doing a pageant.
So we didn't get that birthday celebration either. So we haven't seen her for 2 out of the last 3 birthdays.
Yeah.
So probably knowing the way that is, the 21st will be a washout as well.
No, this year I feel like it's time to have a big one. I think you need to have a really big celebration.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just before we go into the game, you mentioned their beauty pageants. I'm going to have to bring it out because I didn't know you used to do beauty pageants.
I did used to do beauty pageants. No, it's fine. Do you know what? Like, it's something I never talk about, but it's something that actually did completely shape me into where I am today. Like, it's something, again, like, it's a bit of a taboo subject, like beauty pageants, not everyone agrees with it, but it's, if you actually research into it, I promise you, like, it's completely not how you think it is, because everyone thinks that you go on stage, you prance around, like, it's about who's the prettiest. It is not in the slightest. Like, the amount of work I had to do, charity work, like community work, to go to China compete, it was just insane. So it's something that I don't talk about because I know it is so controversial, but I wish it wasn't, because it is so incredible. And I got to do things that I would never, like going to China, you know, like when I was
Yeah.
really young. Like it's just crazy things. But yeah.
I just like pulling out all the interesting little facts for you guys because I
Yeah.
find that very interesting. Now, thank you. Now, we're going to play a game, okay? So the game is called Two Truths and a Lie. Has anyone heard of this game? Do you know how to play? Yeah. Thank God. Right. Do you guys know how to play Two Truths and a Lie?
Certainly do.
We've gone through it. So, Molly, please can you tell us all your two truths and a lie? Obviously, don't tell us which one is which. And we
Okay.
are going to guess afterwards what we think is true and what we think is a lie.
Okay.
Are we excited? Are you ready? Do you have one ready?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with it. I haven't really prepared these, but okay. Okay, I've got two, and then okay. Right, so my first. So I just have to say so I'm saying three
Let's think.
truths.
Right, so number one.
Number one. Okay, number one. Okay, so I used to Irish dance from the age of 5 until I was 15.
Okay,
so
so
Irish
that's number one.
dancing.
Number two.
Number two. My name is actually Molly, and then middle name May, but I made it Molly-Mae just by adding a dash when I was like maybe 13, and then it just stuck. I can fit my whole hand inside my mouth.
Oh, okay. So, audience, this is where I need you guys to get involved. So, first of all, if you think number one was a lie, I want you to cheer now. Okay, we think that one was true. Then I'm going to take it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, if you think answer two was a lie, cheer now. And if you think number three was a lie, cheer now. Well, I think it's unanimous.
Unanimous.
We all know.
I think it's obvious, guys. That it was number three. Dad, what did you I'm just going to call you Dad for now. Molly's dad. Dad, what do you think?
Well, you know.
Well, do I?
Yeah.
I think number 3 was a lie.
We think number three? Okay, shall we get a drum roll, guys? Can we get a drum roll in the audience? Molly revealed to us. Which one was a lie?
Well, I can't put my whole hand in my mouth. So it just came to me. I couldn't think.
I was really looking. Thank you guys for playing along there. I was really looking to see whether you could. I did actually believe that you could. I thought number two might be a lie.
Not. No, it wouldn't have happened.
I wasn't sure. I thought they were all truths for a minute because I thought you could.
No, I have got a big mouth, but.
So Molly-Mae, that is your
Yeah.
birth name.
So on my
There you go.
passport, it's Molly. No, so on my passport, it's Molly-Mae Haig. So my middle name is May. My first name is Molly. It was a good thing to do because I wouldn't want people to come and be like, oh, it's Molly Haig. Because first of all, it sounds like hay, like a haystack. Because on the phone, I have to be like, oh yeah, on like the bank, when I'm talking to the bank, I'm like Molly Haig. Like I have to pronounce the g. They're like, is that Molly Hayes? Hey. I'm like, no, it's Haig. So then when I say it's Molly-Mae, they're like, oh yeah, Molly-Mae. Do you know what I mean? It just flows better. So I just added the dash and then it stuck. And
I
that
like
was
that
it.
you made that decision at such a young age. That's really clever. You've
Yeah.
raised an incredible daughter. Now it's your turn. You're in the hot seat.
I was saying, I don't know who wants to hear 3 truths about my dad, but okay, let's go for it anyway.
Guys, do we want to hear two truths and a lie about Molly's dad? I mean, I think that was the biggest cheer we've had all night, so... Right, let's hear them. Hit us with truth or lie number one.
Okay, number 1. I once had to rescue my uncle's false teeth from the Irish Sea. Number 2. I cut a mean move on the dance floor. Number 3. Number 3. I was once voted Hunk of the Week when I was 20 and appeared on a Christmas Panther with Barbara Windsor as a prize.
I just love all three of them. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, you can
They
come
need to
again.
just sum up my dad, those 3 statements.
Okay, guys, it's your turn again. I need to know what you think is true and what you think is a lie. So, if you think number 1 was a lie, cheer now. Oh, okay. So number 1's, we think it's true. Number 2, cheer now. Do you remember what number 2 was? Do you want to refresh?
He can cut a mean move on the dance floor.
Cut a mean move on the dance floor. If you think it's a lie, cheer now. Everyone thinks you can cut some mean shapes. You're throwing shapes all night after
Have
this.
you seen him?
And if you think number 3 was a lie, cheer now. I think, there you go. I'm not going to say that word again, but I think it's obvious which one they're going for. Molly, do you know which one is a lie there?
Well, I know that... Oh, should I just say it?
Go for it.
Right, I know that number 1 is true, because you told me that story, I actually cried laughing, because it's too funny.
Yeah, I can't believe you've all actually think that's true. Like, I thought that'd be a
My
lie.
sister and I were on a fishing boat in the Isle of Man. My uncle was about 45. He had false teeth.
And he was sick, wasn't he?
And he was sick, and his false teeth came out and
And
went
he
into
came
the
up and
Irish
was like-
Sea. Well, we didn't actually rescue them because they just drifted away in the Irish Sea, and that was it.
How did you all just think that was real? Because hearing that again,
That's
I'm like,
so
it doesn't
random to make up, though, isn't it?
It
Like,
is
come
so-
on,
I mean,
that'd be too weird.
great imaginations.
And the third one, when I was in the police, there was a competition locally. Ambulanceman, fireman, scout leader, policeman, hunk of the week. I won the competition. The prize was to be in the Christmas panto at Stephen.
That's not a prize. That's humiliating.
With Barbara Windsor. So, and do not put me on the dance floor. Trust me.
just don't.
That is definitely a lie.
Wait, so the dance floor was a lie?
Yeah, I can't cut a move.
Guys.
I'm worse than Tommy. I've got 2 left feet. Curtis needs to take me in hand for
Yeah,
sure.
he definitely does.
I think we need to see that on video next year at your party, at your dad's dance. We need to see a bit of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for playing. I think we can give them both a round of applause for them truthing a lie. They were brilliant. And thank you very much to Molly's dad for stepping on stage and playing that game with us. Now it's a really interesting part of the podcast. You can stay where you are and chill, and you can get involved all you like. It's entirely up to you. The audience, this is your time. So you will have seen on the tickets that we said you could bring your most burning questions to Molly. So I hope you've all thought of some. It's your time now. If you would like to ask Molly a question, are you ready, Molly?
Yeah, very ready.
Always ready. If you would like to ask Molly a question, then please put your hand up, and one of our
don't
lovely...
be scared to ask me any questions, because I remember in school and stuff when they were like, it's question time, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm definitely not going to put my hand up. But put your hand up.
You've got to put your hand up. Put your hand up, and one of our lovely team members will bring over a microphone so that we can hear you. Please don't ask your question until the microphone has reached you. I'm excited.
So am I.
Question number 1.
Okay. So you go through so much trolling on social media. How are you still as confident as ever?
That's a really good question. Do you know what? I don't actually know is the answer, because I think, do you know what? Like, I actually really don't know, because it is the hardest thing in the world, and I think like I don't really talk about it much because it's something that I kind of just deal with myself. I just kind of I see everything on Twitter. I'm that person that I don't miss a tweet. I don't miss an Instagram DM. Like, I see everything. I have to read it all. I don't know why. It's just something that I just like to do. I like to see what people have to say. So I see everything. And I think you just kind of like, in this life, when you get catapulted into this new life, but you don't have a choice, you just have to kind of read it and think, okay, next. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to just deal with it, because if you don't just deal with it and let it pass you by, you'll let it eat you up. And then I wouldn't crack on and do the things I want to do. Like, I wouldn't have my own business. I wouldn't collab with incredible brands. You'd just be a shell. So I think you just have to deal with it. And I genuinely don't know how, because sometimes I do read the stuff and I'm like, this is actually insane. Like, how can people say this stuff? Like, the Daily Mail comments is just insane. I don't know who writes that stuff. I don't know who says it, but it's something that I do want to kind of focus on in 2020 in regards to like trolling and stuff. I want to do something about it. I want to try and fix it, because it's just such an epidemic. It's a problem. Like, I'm sure you guys probably all saw those bikini pictures that came out of me in that white bikini, and literally I sat in my room for about 2 days and I just sobbed, because it was awful. Like, that was the worst 2 days ever. But you just have to deal with it. You just have to crack on and think, do you know what? Like, I've got an incredible family, an incredible boyfriend, an incredible job, and that's the positives in my life. I don't need to worry about what everyone else has to say, because their opinions don't matter anyway. But yeah, thanks for the question. It was a good question. Here we go.
Yeah, it is hard from a family's point of view to see that kind of thing written about your daughter, because you know your daughter, you know that family member, you know most of it is untrue. And as Molly quite rightly says, where do the people actually get the ideas from to write that kind of thing? You've got to just support her, try to make her realise that, you know, it is just people trying to be horrid, and more often it's a reflection of themselves, and it is actually about you know, about the individual. But to be fair to Molly, she is that person that reads everything, because occasionally I find it hard, and there'll be a
He replied. This is so
there'll be tweets, and I'll go, right, I've had enough of this one. So I'll be on the keyboard,
at
right,
Stephen Hague on Twitter, it blows up my phone every single day. It's like, at Stephen Hague replies, and it's like, listen here, you big beep, 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 beep. I'm like, oh my God,
and then
Dad,
I'll get this little
like,
message, Molly to Dad, delete.
I'm like, Dad, delete that tweet right now.
I'm
like, Dad, that's going to be on the front page of Daily Mail tomorrow. Delete that right now. And he's like, okay, deleted.
So I have to catch myself occasionally, because obviously I'm going to jump to a defence, because she's my daughter, and you know, we're all incredibly proud of her. And actually, to be catapulted into that and be called every name under the sun, whether it's what you cook, what colour your tan is, how dark it is, whatever it might be. To be fair, the chicken looked alright. I'd have eaten it.
You just didn't need to bring that up, but okay.
No, but I can completely understand, like, as a parent and as a close friend or anything to Molly or to somebody that is in this position, it must be terribly, terribly hard. And I think it's also really important to remember Molly's a human being just like the rest of us, and as is every celebrity and, you know, person in the public eye. So very good question. Thank you very much. I'm sure we've got more. I hope we have. Any arms in the air? There we go. We've got one over there. Can we get a microphone over?
Well, my boyfriend wanted to ask, what's your favourite dinner? So do you like Sunday roast? Because we like roast dinners, and you always put that amazing food on your Instagram. We're like, oh my God.
Oh, I've got the plug.
And you
I've
seem to
got the
know
plug. I'm the plug. Right, so Tommy
I
and
do
I
have
go-
an actual question. That's not my actual question. But
Oh, have you got
We'll
a
do
question?
two. We'll do
yeah,
two.
we'll do that one first because it's a big
Okay,
one.
sweet. So if you live in Manchester and you want a roast, you need to go to the Counter House, and I'm just gonna plug them. I literally
We
paid-
followed that the other day.
Yeah,
because
Archie's,
incredible.
we want to go to Archie's.
Honestly, incredible. Like Tommy and I are such foodies. Well, he's not right now because he's eating like a rabbit because he's in camp. But honestly, like their roast is just incredible. And a roast dinner is probably one of my favourite meals to have. Like it's my favourite. I'm obsessed with it.
We were literally talking about it before, weren't we, saying the camera
Yeah, we were
house,
just we were chatting about that. You probably thought we were having some proper gossip. We were just talking about roast dinners.
We were
to be
lying
honest.
down on the
I was
sofa,
like, oh,
chilling
can't wait for
out.
next Sunday.
So my actual question, what's like a day in the life of Molly-Mae? So if you had a day off, what would you do?
Ooh,
That's
love
a really
that.
good question. Okay, I'd probably sleep until 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I can sleep for England. Like I can literally just sleep. And then what I like to do is my favourite thing to do is go to the Trafford Centre. This is so weird. I like to go to the Trafford Centre. I like to walk around the shops, go to Victoria's Secret and buy myself 5 knickers for £25. And I like to go to the cinema and then go to Nando's. That's literally like my perfect day. That's like my dream day.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question. Both of those questions, they were fantastic. Have we got any more questions in the room? I do believe I spotted one before. Let's get the microphone over there.
Hi, Molly. Who's your biggest inspiration?
That is such a good question.
Obviously, like, could be a family member or someone that you've met
Yeah,
in the
it could be a
public
family
eye.
member.
Could be,
Your dad.
could be
I
sat
know your
right
dad.
here.
That's so funny. Oh God, that's so hard. Like, there's a million people. Like, do you guys watch Patricia Bright on YouTube? I love her. She's always like one of my biggest inspirations for YouTube. But in regards to something a bit more sentimental, I'd probably say my sister because she's actually in the army, and she like we couldn't be more chalk and cheese if we try. Like, she is such a tomboy. Like, she just is. She's in the army. She gets up at 5 a.m. every day. She's like a personal trainer. She's everything that I'm not, basically. But sometimes when I sit on, like, when I'm say like here right now, I'll just be thinking about what she's doing. I'm like, we couldn't be more opposite. But she works so hard, and obviously for our country, which is something that I'm obviously so proud of and inspires me to obviously be a better person because she's so selfless and puts everyone else before herself. So I'd probably say my sister. And she says that she never gets a shout out. So Zoe, you got a shout out.
There you go. Hi, Zoe.
Go, Zoe!
Wee. And that's why the money is going to help for heroes as well, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's why you chose that charity.
Yeah, it's something in my family. Like my family, like my granddad was in the army. My dad's in the police. My mum was in the police. Well, so
All
you're
around,
retired. Yeah. Basically, like it just runs in my family. Like special forces. It's something that I'm kind of like the only person that's not really done it. But but you know what? Like I totally like. I'm so like hats off to anyone that is in the army and the police or anything. It's such an incredible hard job.
Yeah.
And as I said, like it's in my family to just. We have this like thing every year where we go to France. It's like a big memorial. And no one really knows this about me, but like the army and wars and how do you put it into like military? I can't really explain
Yeah.
it. I'm sound really dense right now.
Yeah,
But
You don't.
You go to France every year to lay a wreath. There's a road in France named after her granddad, after my dad, because
Wow.
of part of a battle he took part in France and helped liberate a town. And so he used to go back every year to celebrate or to remember the 22 soldiers of his platoon that were killed.
oh my god, it literally sounds
and
so dad-like right now.
They go back every year to lay wreaths at the graves to remember the people that fell alongside my dad, Molly's granddad.
That was a lovely bit of information, though. We didn't know that about you guys. So, well,
Yeah.
I certainly didn't. So, thank you for the amazing question. Do we have any more questions in the room? I think we've got a couple of hands. So, our runner is going to run around.
they're getting
Jordan
really
is
good
running through the room with a microphone right now.
What advice would you give to like aspiring content creators?
Oh, that's a
Ooh,
good
really good
question.
one.
I feel like all influencers say the same thing when they get asked this question, but I feel like the most important thing is to be consistent. You have to post content every single day. Like I've not posted. This sounds like so controversial, but I've not posted a picture on Instagram in 2 days now, and I'm kind of freaking out about it because I know that really matters. If that's your job, engagement is so affected by when you don't post. So I feel like if you're trying to be an influencer, it's unfortunately right now it's such an overpopulated market. And when I started, I feel like I literally just got there just in time before everyone and their mum was an influencer. But it's just finding the time whenever you've got a spare minute, get out there, put an outfit on, get a picture. It doesn't have to be the perfect picture, just put it out there because it's just content to keep flowing out to your audience. Literally, like, no one really knows this, but when I was trying to be an influencer, like, I used to get my dad, my mum take pictures for me. My mum would finish work at 5 o'clock in the evening, then we'd go straight out, go to the Starbucks on our road, like at a service station, because we lived in a village in the middle of nowhere. And I just get a picture, because it's just so important that you're constantly flowing content out, and be original, but don't be like, think of new ideas. But it's sometimes good to follow the trends and do what everyone else is doing, because people like to see that stuff on Instagram. Like, there's always trends, and like everyone's got the same bag in that moment. I'm not saying you have to get that bag, but just, you know what I mean? It's kind of good to follow the trends. But yeah, it is so hard. Like, it is so hard. It's such a hard thing to get noticed in. And I feel your pain if you're trying to do it, because I was that person that would got 1 follower a week and be like, this is never going to happen. But manifest it. Believe you can do it, and it will happen.
I think believing in yourself is the biggest thing we should all take away for anything you want to do. You should always believe in yourself and manifest it. And if you believe you can do it.
100%.
Thank you for that question. That was lovely.
Yeah.
And I think we had a couple more questions in the back. We've probably got time for maybe 2 more. So I want to see your best questions. I'm ready for you. I hope you are too, Molly.
Yes, I am. I'm just thinking about that question, because I honestly, like, if you're trying to be an influencer, I don't know if you are, but it's so hard. Like, and it makes me so sad when I know girls that are so eager to have that job, and it just makes me so upset, because I'm like, I want to just give you my followers. I'm like, take them. Do you know what I mean? Because I know what it feels like to work every day and try and not get anywhere. But honestly, just keep trying, because you can get there.
Hi, Molly.
Hi.
As an influencer, where's the best place that you've got to travel to?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Juicy. Love that.
Well, I went to Coachella last year, which was literally a dream. Like, that was crazy. And everyone was calling it the Influencer Olympics last year, because everyone and their dog and their cat and their mum went to Coachella last year. I don't know why, but it was just incredible, and it was such a great experience. And then going to Bali as well was also insane. But yeah, that is one cool thing about being an influencer, is that when you kind of get followers, you get to go on trips and stuff, which is obviously such a perk. But 2020 for me is going to be the year for travel, because I'm not really that well traveled. Like, I'm not, like, a holiday for us was going to the Isle of Man and going walking and then camping. That was my family's idea of a holiday.
That was a good trip.
No, that was not.
You're an adventurous
Yeah.
family.
We used to have a lot of UK holidays, whereas my friends would be going to Florida and Disneyland. That was not me.
Did you not enjoy the mudslide at 4 o'clock in the morning across the campsite?
No, that
4
wasn't
o'clock in
for-
the morning.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. It's
Her and her
just
sister walked to the toilets in the campsite, and it was raining cats and dogs. And all I could hear, I was lying there, and me and her mum could hear this noise, and there was this screeching and screaming. And we looked out the tent, and basically these two decided to turn it into a mudslide. So it slid all the way across the campsite on their stomachs to the toilet block.
Yeah,
and come
that
back.
was my life. That was what I used to do.
Molly
probably why
sounds
she now
thrilled
likes
about
to
All my
dress up.
friends were in, Egypt and America, and I was just there in the Lake District mudsliding.
So I think we had time for one more question. Thank you very much for that
Thank
question.
you
We've
for
got
the
one
question.
at the back. Okay, I can see an arm in the air.
Hi, Molly.
Hi.
Obviously, your hair was such a big part of your image. I was just wondering, why did you decide to get it cut short?
That's such a good question.
Ooh.
Okay. Real answer is that I don't know. I've always wanted to try short. And I felt like winter is the time to do it, to go short, because I feel like it goes with outfits quite well. I honestly don't know, and you're going to be the first to know this, but I'm actually going back long next week, because I just not. But that's because I'm going on holiday, and I feel like short for cold weather is good, and long for hot weather is great, because you can style it more. And I am so blessed that obviously I do collab with Beauty Work, so I'm very lucky that I can be quite. I can do different things with my hair. But do you know what? If I'm honest, if I wasn't working with a hair company, I probably would have just kept it long, because extensions are extremely expensive, and I probably wouldn't mess around with it as much as I do. But that's such a good question, because I actually don't know. I really don't know. It just kind of came over me, and I was like, do you know what? Let's go short. I'm very spontaneous like that, and I don't really think of the repercussions. And I tried to put it in a bun, and I was like, okay, the Molly-Mae signature bun is now gone, ended, it's dead, it doesn't exist anymore. But I'm missing it, so I am going to go back long next week. But yeah.
Brilliant
That's the tea for
question.
you.
Thank you, everybody, for your questions. Have we got any further dying questions before we move on to the next part? Oh, we've got one more. Come on, we'll fit one more in.
If you could pick one celebrity to do another PLT range with, who would it be, and what do you think you would come up with together?
Oh,
I feel like that's my favourite question so far. I mean, I've loved them all.
like
but
a
that
collab
is
together.
juicy.
Like I want one together like that.
Like you and I want like
Oh
an
my
A-list celebrity though,
gosh.
like someone.
So we're talking like your Ariana Grande, you're
Yeah.
talking a Kardashian.
Would you know
you're
what? I
talking-
feel like I've got one, and this is just because I'm obsessed with her. But it would probably. Well, I've got two actually.
Ooh.
So I love Pia Mia. I think she's the best. Like I actually obsessed over her, and I love her style. I think she's really effortlessly cool. So potentially Pia Mia. This is just like a girl can dream. And then I just burped again, sorry. And then probably, I don't know if you guys saw, I recreated Hailey Bieber's look on the red carpet, that pink dress with the black scrunchie, which is a bit controversial, but I absolutely love her style and I think she's so cool. So potentially Hailey Bieber. She has, again, that really effortlessly chic. And that's, again, another reason why I went short. I love how she does that kind of like sleek back bun, no makeup, super natural. And when I cut my hair short, I wanted to go for a bit more of like a natural, chilled out look. So yeah, Pia Mia and Hailey Bieber are like my two celeb girl crushes. I'm obsessed with them.
So now you need to go away and manifest that for us.
Yeah.
For us all, yeah?
You all just manifest that for me. That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. Guys, I'm afraid that is actually all we've got time for. That is taking us to the end of our podcast. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. I can't believe that we've actually just got through our first ever live podcast.
We did it. You made it.
We had a couple of coughing fits. We had a couple of, but it's been amazing. And Molly's dad, it's been incredible having you guys here. Thank you so much for taking us through.
Thank you for having us, as always.
Thank you for taking us through your year. What an incredible year you've had. We can't wait to see what an incredible year you're going to have next year. I'm sure it's just going to absolutely be incredible. So thank you so much. And to all of our lovely audience and our lovely listeners at home, thank you so much. This has been PLT Behind Closed Doors live podcast 2019. And all that's left to say is Merry Christmas and we wish you all a happy New Year. Woo!